Hi, welcome to Happy Home Crazy Mom. This is part 3 of my little thing for today. My 3 lessons I learned last year. The first one was second was manage expectations. The first one, can't remember because that was like 10 minutes ago. Just kidding. You can look and see for yourself if you want to. We all look the same. I look just the same beautifulness in my early morning. This is reality, guys. Okay, I have 12 kids. I'm sure I know one's in heaven, so I don't have to take care of him so much. And one's at college, but I still have ties there. One I'm not really talking to a lot right now. Reality there. Love him still. Working with kindness there. But anyway, that's the reality here. So we are at 6 o'clock in the morning, sharing with you some insights I had just because I want you to learn from my mistakes. I want you to learn and think about things because that's what I do. I philosophize, I think about, and I like to apply, and that's something I do. And some people seem to have benefited from that. So this is for my friends out there who seem to benefit from this. All right, so the third lesson I learned this year. It's bugging me that I can't remember my first lesson that I learned. Anyway, the third lesson I learned was which battles to fight and how to really win. Okay. Now this may seem obscure, but I feel like my relationships with my kids, being a crazy mom, has some fighting in it. I have kids who, when I talk to them about things, I feel like they don't want to address issues straight on, that they continue to come up with excuses or try to divert us from the main thing. Like, I feel like I've made my point, or they were maybe wrong or something, and they're like, they twist it all of a sudden to some other situation where they have some kind of grievance with me and we've lost the other point. And I'm like, whoa, what about this? And so for any of you who've had to navigate through these long, treacherous series of arguments and counter logics and whatever, I'm learning to decide what battles to fight and what it means to win. So I can give you some examples. So I have a 17-year-old who's very good with his mouth. He has a lot of ideas in there. And he and I have gotten a lot of heated debates over the years. And we've done a lot of the talking in circles thing that we do. Sorry, I'm wobbling a lot there. And a lot of this talking in circles over the years. And at the end of it, I can see him kind of locked down. And I may have said my point, got my point across, and really driven it home, made him acknowledge it. And I see this frozen person across from me. And I've learned to recognize that that means that I've lost. I've lost. Because if what I'm seeking is understanding, if what I'm seeking is them to acknowledge what they've done wrong, to force it to them, they've learned nothing. In fact, they've built it even stronger inside of them, this resistance. Now, I'm not saying, just put this right up there in front, I'm not saying you should never say things that are uncomfortable that make your kids go, okay, that little soul nook. There are times, and again, you got to trust your gut, trust the spirit, however you want to look at it, and say those things. But don't make that the way you talk about everything. Okay, so here's an example. So my son and I are talking one time, and we were having, this is just a couple weeks ago, crazy mom, remember? We were standing up face to face, and I had to look up because he's about a foot taller than I am. Maybe not that tall, but he's taller than I am. And we were right in each other's faces, yelling, loud voices. Anyway, at each other, pretty intense. The rest of the house kind of scattered. And something happened that I've been noticing lately. I could feel within my heart that was wrong. There's a feeling when you argue or fight that feels, how do you describe it? Tight, like a knot. And you feel like, at least I used to feel like, in order to unravel that knot, I needed to be able to explain myself and have them acknowledge it and really listen. But that's not the way to unravel the knot inside when you're arguing. When you're talking to this person, arguing, whatever, sometimes you have to submit and bury your throat to them if you want to look in the context of wolves. You need to sit back, and this is how you do it. Okay, you're fighting back and forth. They just made a point. You see that shut down face? You have to stop and have to think, what are they really trying to say here? Why are we having this argument? Why do I feel this way right now? And what are they feeling right now? So I started toning down my voice and asking gentle questions. Like, okay, I can see you're really frustrated. Well, it seems to me, I don't have to see. It seems to me, I may not be accurate in this, because no one likes to be read. No one likes read in an argument. I'm told how they feel. It seems to me that you're frustrated by what I just said. That's not my goal, to create frustration. I want to not have this happen in the future. So where are you coming from? And sometimes I'll say, you're not going to listen anyway. And I'll say, okay, well, it sounds like you're not being heard. And I really want to hear you. I really want to understand you. Okay, we're talking about this. And you kind of say the words back to him. And of course, you read books about this. I'm not the first one to come up with this idea. This is not an original thing. I'm just showing you a different application, okay? And you sit and say, just talk gently back to them. And not in a fake way. In a way that you love them. You need to feel love for them. And if you don't feel love for them, and if you don't feel like you want to understand them, it's not going to work. You can't be fake about it. And so I will talk quietly to my son. So you didn't even understand what I'm saying. You're not even listening to me. And I'll say, well, can I just share what I think you're saying? And I'll say back to him without any excuses, without any of my perspective. I'll say back things like, it sounds like you feel like I'm being unfair to you. And that you really had a valid concern when you talked about not doing your dinner. That you didn't understand what was happening. And you feel like I don't understand, that you looked at me, you asked me the questions, you tried to resolve it. And I am not acknowledging that. Okay? Sorry about that grossness. So I just got emotional. And I will just talk him through it. And the end of our arguments are normally like, where do you go next? Because there's no final thing. It's an open door. That's what you want. Then you say something like, oh, I don't really have anything more I need to say right now. Do you have anything you want us to share? And normally, my son will be like, and he'll clam up. But looking back, I've realized they have actually heard me. They've actually listened. And because I don't demand that our arguments end with a zinging victory for me, they actually listen. And what's more, they have felt heard and loved. That's victory. Because honestly, people, they will want to fix themselves. If they feel loved and heard, they will want to fix themselves. And yes, you said something and it's hurt them because you've pointed out somewhere they're doing something wrong. And nobody likes to hear that. And yes, you need to say that as a parent. Yes, you need to do that. But follow it with love. Even if it looks like they're winning and they're attacking with all their verbal words. And you say, I'm sorry. It seems like you're really frustrated and that wasn't my intention. I just had this concern, but this is where you're coming from, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So, what do you really want to do? What is your end victory? Is it to win the argument? Because you won't win the war that way. If your goal is empathy, if it's a relationship, if it's for them to make changes, is it for them to actually listen to you? If you want them to really listen to you, you have to listen to them. Lovingly, compassionately, and they won't do it back, but they will listen to you and they will change. They will change. So be crazy, be feisty, but follow with love. Follow with love. And my son trusts me now. It's taken a few months of this, but he trusts me, and we still have arguments, but they end a lot differently, and we can talk to each other. And he knows that my end goal is not to zing him. My end goal is to love him. And he knows my love is sure. And that is victory. You're doing better than you think you are. Just roll with whatever you feel prompted to change, and you'll do great. Take care till next time. Of Happy Home Crazy Mom. Love ya.